human ingenuity is the original algorithm.
I don't know what it's like to be outside without a phone.
You don't know what it's like to be inside without a phone.
What's poppin'? It's your girl, Mami Tiff, here with Complex News, and today I'm here with the legendary actor, producer, rapper, author, everyone, Omar Epps. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Welcome home. Welcome to New York. I know you were born and raised in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Do you say you're from Brooklyn or do you say you're from New York?
I say I'm from Brooklyn.
I feel like everyone who I know who's born and raised from Brooklyn says they're from Brooklyn. Now, I just want to say, I grew up in a household that played your movies throughout my childhood. To be able to sit down with you today is truly an honor.
Thank you.
I remember the first time I watched Love and Basketball, and that made me realize what it was like to have a childhood love. And then watching The Wood, actually after the first time I watched it back to back for a second time, because I had just never seen a Black brotherhood film like that. And maybe that was my first time really seeing a film that was representing Black brotherhood and the intimacies between their friendships and their, love interests. For your film that's coming out tomorrow, Moses the Black, you're on set with Wiz Khalifa, Skilla Baby, and Quavo.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you, what advice are you giving, or how are you working with the rappers on this set as it's early in their career, particularly with this film or any other films you worked with other rappers on?
Yeah, I don't like to look at the title rapper. I more look at their artists. Like we're all artists, and I think they are storytellers, right? But in a different format. So for me, it's less about whether I have advice to give or not, and it's more about them, the fact that they're there, being open to the process, and through that process, we just sort of have a natural exchange. So for, Skilla Baby was asking certain questions and things of that nature, but it's the answers can really only be given through the process for one to really understand. I could sit there and be cerebral with you and talk you through it, but the craft is something you have to do for things to make sense, if you will. So, but all of them were dope. It was fun, and the type of film that it is, everyone, I think, was there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So everyone was very open to being vulnerable and allowed the process to happen.
Yeah. And you being one of the few people to have been on set with Tupac in his acting career that he had, did he ever talk to you about any goals he had or what he saw aspirational-wise that he wanted to do within his acting career?
The things that Pac spoke about were the things you've heard him speak about. He was genuinely who he was. Dreams, aspirations, specifically as far as acting, we all wanted to grow, do bigger and better. The whole thing, and one day produce and things of that nature. But we were very young at that time.
Yeah.
We worked together on our first film, so I think that just the natural aspirations of a youngster getting into this thing is kind of what he was speaking about.
Now, I want to talk about you going back a little bit and kind of your starting point of acting, and also just specifically LaGuardia High School. I feel like there's a lot of stars that come out of, that's where stars are born, I feel like. How has LaGuardia High School, how did that performing arts school prepare you to get to Juice?
LaGuardia was just, it's a beautiful part of my life and in my journey, and I think I'm thinking about it in real time. I'm reflecting back, and I'm thinking from the perspective of not the student, I'm thinking from the faculty and the passion that they all had and the belief that they all had. You have these city kids from all walks of life with this vision, and knowing that, the majority of them might not, make it to where they see themselves, but still they just gave and gave and gave, and it was an incredible training ground. And you have this wonderful school, but it's also in this incredible city.
Right.
A city full of opportunity and artistry. And so I think, having that mix all together, it is definitely one of those places that is ripe to have produced so many stars.
Yeah. And what was it like during that time at LaGuardia?
It was fun. Well, so the original school was further up. We were on 66 in Amsterdam, and it was still under construction.
Okay.
My first year. So that was interesting because like half the school was open and half of it was being built. But, as a kid coming from Brooklyn, just, taking the train to the city every day. And,
Go uptown.
you know what I mean? And just the character, New York being New York. And again, this was the late 80s. So this was in a time where the city was different. I guess I should use they say the YNs. Y'all YNs talk about outside and all these terms. Well, we were outside before it was a term, and it was a way different world. It was one cameras everywhere. You didn't have a phone. You didn't have, and all of these things played a part in, because you talking about in the midst of the crack era too.
Yeah.
Right. Especially for urban communities, so it was very dangerous. But again, coming from the borough, taking the train, going to the city, just seeing you, it kind of feels like you're getting a slice of the dream.
I find it funny that you brought up YNs and like being outside, and I do wish, because how old am I? I'm 26. But I don't know what it's like to be outside without a phone and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's truly living, like.
You don't know what it's like to be inside without a phone.
You're right. So, social media is everything. Like, we could track each other now on these phones. Like, it's just so different, like, in a sense of, like, back then, you would hope to see people come back home, like, you know what I'm saying? You trusted that people would go to school and then come back.
Right.
It was just like a completely different time. Do you refer to yourself as an OG?
Do I refer to myself? Nah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just old.
Don't say that.
Yeah. No, but I want to speak to what you just said.
Yeah.
I think that technology is obviously it's a gift in many respects, but I'm concerned about, it can also stifle your imagination. And I think that all great innovation comes from imagination, right? And I think that human ingenuity is the original algorithm, right? So it's like, I say that to say, like, not being inundated with information 24 hours a day on this thing, looking down. It forces you to talk to people and come up, let's make up a game and go outside and do things together, and you learn a lot about people. You learn how to be, but you learn how to be tolerant of things that you don't understand, because you're forced to deal with it. Like, I think one of the most powerful things about New York is the train, the subway. Taking the subway, you could be a homeless person, it could be a person from the P's, it could be a millionaire stockbroker standing there. You don't know what it is.
Right.
You just got on a suit and a blazer. There's just all these different walks of life are,
In this cart.
in this car, like packed in like in the tuna, like sardines in the tuna can, right? And you have to interact with people.
Yeah.
Can't do that in the phone. It's virtual, So I think that it's just something to think about, and for the younger generation, because you don't have the context of feeling the necessity to put it down. Right? Like, that's just and it's not your fault, because when you growing up, the world is like this.
That was the normal.
This is what's normal, right? So there's a flip side to that to think about that, when it comes times for you to start a family or whatever the case may be for you, some of what I'm saying will come into play because you're going to be looking at your kids. If it's like this now, think how it's going to be in 20 years. Like,
we already got the iPad kids.
you know what I mean? My son's, he's 18, he's an iPad kid.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? An iPad kid is hilarious.
Have you heard that?
I haven't. I'm hearing it, but
okay.
it makes all the sense in the world. That's funny. The iPad kid.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, now, and then it's going to be the AI kids.
No.
Then what?
We don't want the AI kids.
It's here.
Yeah, it's here.
What I mean?
Speaking of AI, how are you feeling about AI within the film industry?
That's AI in the film industry. I think if it's utilized as a tool, it's inevitable. I think it will devastate certain parts of the business, but that's innovation, right? Like, it's funny. I was talking with some of my friends that are older than me not too long ago, and we were talking about, and I involved my son in this conversation because I'm like, before the refrigerator was normal, there used to be something called the Iceman. They're like, what's the Iceman? I'm like, they would bring a block of ice, and you put it in the ice box, and that's what you had. Like,
right.
However long it would last, a week or whatever. And then this thing called a refrigerator was coming. And the guys who made an industry of being the Iceman were like, this is devastating. We're gonna, but I think progression is sort of inevitable.
Yeah.
So I say that to, people still ride horses, but there was a point where horses were how you got around, and then trains came along.
Yeah.
So I think AI, in terms of in Hollywood, it certainly will become the norm for certain parts of the business. And we'll see how that will turn out. But I think that ultimately, when humans are watching, whether it's fiction or nonfiction depictions of human experiences, they want it to come from humans.
Yeah.
Right. So it seems all a little crazy now because it seems new, even though it's not, and it'll ebb and flow and sort of settle in and find.
But you're not worried about it.
I mean, why should you be? You should try to understand it and not worry about what the future in that way. Just focus and be present in the gift of now, and how it happens, how it happen, and we'll adjust accordingly.
Yeah. I think that's a good perspective to have because you've been in the film industry for some time now, and you've been able to.
I like how you said that. That's a good one. For some time.
I feel like this whole interview is going to be about ages.
Nah.
But you being in the film industry for the time that you have been, and when I think of you were in a lot of classic Black films, and like Black films that I look back at and I'm like, we don't necessarily get those as often today. I want to know, what do you think is the perfect formula to create a Black classic movie?
If I had that formula, I'd be, richer than Tyler Perry, because I wouldn't tell you, and
you would just do it.
I would just do it over and over and over. I don't know if there's necessarily a formula. I mean, there is a formula to storytelling. There's a story science, and I think that it's interesting to hear you say you don't know if you get those type of films
as often.
Yeah. Right? That's the key, because I think this generation has their versions, but I get what you're saying. It's not just as often, it's that the screen, it's the format. There's so much in streaming now, which I don't want to say television, right? But you may not get as many films in a theater.
Yeah. Because
the theater is an experience beyond it's the communal way to digest content. And that is, it's floundering. There's not as many movies in the theaters, and it's not just Black films, it's just across the board.
Period, yeah.
So I think that feeling is what this generation is missing, right? That is beyond just, like you and your family watching something at home. It's like, yo, you, your homegirls, your homeboys, or whatever, or with strangers all laughing at the same part, or all whatever at the same part of the movie, and y'all come out and all these different conversations. That's that communal thing that I think can't be, there's nothing like the theater experience.
You get to see other people essentially react to the same film you're watching.
Yeah, it would be like, imagine if people who love Broadway, if you were just watching Broadway at home,
That'd be weird.
It's
Takes
not
away.
It takes away from the experience.
Yeah.
Part of seeing a play is going in person.
Yeah.
And the investment of time to, like, we're gonna go at this time, it's gonna take us this long to get there, whether you're driving, you gotta find parking, or we're gonna eat before. All of that it plays into sitting down and watching this play and like, oh my God, and now you have conversations after, and I don't know where that part of the business is gonna go.
Okay.
In terms of theaters. Hopefully they will thrive on as they should. I mean, they've been around theaters have been around for thousands of years, but I think this generation is missing that part of it.
The theatrical.
The theatrical part is, and then bringing it back to the original thing about black films.
Yeah.
Is you guys are missing that part of black films. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Getting to see a film like The Wood or
Right.
what have you in theaters with your friends is different from just like watching in the crib with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like, because I wanted to ask you, what would you consider our last black classic movie?
That's I've never been asked that question. For me?
Yeah, and yes, it is for you to say.
Black Panther.
Okay. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. Shout out to Chad.
Yeah. Or some, now you could say Sinners.
Sinners. Yeah.
So again, they're being done. It just, now if you say from the era, there's everyone has their own pick. So I don't, I don't know. But for me, I would say Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther for sure, Sinners definitely for sure. And you kind of started to answer my next question, but I would say outside of Sinners or Black Panther, do you see any black films that are currently out today that you think like a decade from now will be considered a classic?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, because I haven't seen all of them, right? I think Sinners will probably be, in 10 years, it'll be looked at as a classic, for sure. It's a fun film, it's saying something, it's entertaining, performances are phenomenal. So let's go with Sinners.
Would you ever want to work with Ryan Coogler?
Absolutely. I really respect him. Michael B. Jordan, I respect him, and yeah, I think Coogler is. I'm just happy for him and proud of him in his journey. He's a very powerful filmmaker, very powerful, and so let's knock on some wood. And I look forward to
Right,
working
we
with
needed
him
to
one
keep
day.
going.
Yeah,
because I'm excited to see the next Black Panther and the work that he does. And I love seeing him and Michael B. Jordan pair up over the years in the films that they've done together. But I was curious because I know you also too are a huge fan of Spike Lee. You said your favorite movies, Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to know, like, I guess also too, is there anyone in the film industry that you haven't worked with yet that like you feel like you need to work with?
That's a good question. My process is I'm open to those potentials. You know what I mean? Everyone can give you a laundry list of the greats. I'd love to work with Denzel. I'd love to work with Spike. I'd love to work with DiCaprio. I'd love to work with Scorsese. You can do that, but I'm more open to not knowing that part. And that's sort of the fun part of being on set and kind of looking around and so Delroy Lindo was nominated and I get to reflect like, wow, we did a movie together. That's kind of cool. Like, you know what I mean? I don't try to curate that part of the process for myself.
You let it come natural.
Yeah.
and whatever life presents to you is what you receive.
Yeah, if I connect to it, and then, because that's the fun. It's all these different artists. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
This film that you have coming out, it's coming out tomorrow. What would you say? You've played a couple of Malik characters now.
Right.
What would you say this version of Malik and how he's different from the past Maliks?
Oh, it's very, very different. So the character I play, Malik, he is an organizational leader.
Right.
Of men. But the character is he's a man who has come to an impasse where he realizes he has to become the change that he's seeking.
Yeah.
And the story is beautiful because it's juxtaposed against the real story of the 4th century Saint Moses the Black, and how their lives parallel. This part of their journey is parallel. So it's a pretty deep film.
And through the trailer, it looks like Moses the Black speaks to your character, Malik, in a way. Can you talk about what people can expect to see in the connection between you and that saint?
It's kind of like the conversation that, the voice that's in all of our heads, or you have a conversation with your conscience, in a sense. And it's a real life depiction of your conscience, a journey that parallels yours, and so that in your journey you can foresee the ending, if you will. But it's done in a very
it looks very artistic. Like
and I was going to say in a very unique way.
Yeah. Is there anything that you hope that the audience will take away from this film?
I think one of the main takeaways I want people to walk away with is like the idea of redemption, it being available, and it being a constant journey. And meaning the redemption, I think you said you're 26?
Yeah.
The redemption you acquire in your 20s will shift in your 30s. You don't get it in one part, because life ebbs and flows and happens in different experiences and things of that nature. But I think part of our journey as humans is that we're none of us is perfect, right? And I think redemption is that ultimate atonement. It starts within self, but when you're able to do it outwardly, it completes itself. But that's available and it's necessary, because I think a lot of our conflict and tumult, if you will, it derives from dishonesty and no accountability. You know what I mean? I think if in a friendship, even if there's miscommunication, if one has done the other wrong, whatever, we really can't grow and get anywhere until one party's like, my bad. You know what I mean? And not for the gratuitous reason, for the real reason. I understand why this hurt you or why you were offended by that. I get it now. I look from a different perspective. That little micro thing right there is like a piece of redemption.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm redeeming myself.
Right.
And that allows you the grace to say, hey, you know what? Cool.
Okay.
You know, that the past is the past. Let's move forward and be better. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it seems like a major theme that in lesson to be taken away is redemption from this film.
For sure.
Amazing. Well, that's all that we have for today, but thank you so much for coming to speak with us at Complex News. Check out Moses the Black, January 30th. This is Mami Tiff, and thank you, Omar Epps.
Thank you.
We out.